Good morning. It's morning Oasis. Let's see, my brain just totally lost it. Today's the 10th. It's the 10th of January. I believe it's Tuesday. I had last night some super interesting dreams, and one of them was, one of those dreams it's not actually a dream. And so all morning I've been kind of feeling like I'm not all the way awake. I'm not all the way in it yet, so I'm still feel like I'm coming out of that dream space. Morning, Shauna. So today we are going to start by doing card pulls. We have Andrea and Laura on for today. Andrea asked for a specific card pull. Good morning, Andrea. For relationships. So I thought what I would do is I would show you guys a reading that I do that's great, a quick and great and easy way to look at relationships and what's kind of going on there. Now, what I'm going to do is I already know which cards want to do it with her, and that's my Shadowscape Tarot. Love this deck. It's by the artist, one of my favorite artists, Stephanie Pui Moon Law. She's great, and this deck is really great. I find it's a great deck that communicates with just about anybody who sits at it. So what I'll do is just tune into the deck. Morning. And when you are reading your tarot, there's so many thoughts. This is part of what I'm going to talk about today. And it's about tools, and that concept of your tools and the different ways that you receive divination or receive information. There's so many different tools that we can use. Tarot cards are just one of them. Another one of them is a pendulum, and I have a pendulum here also that I thought I would work with you guys and show you a little bit in just a few minutes. So when you're going to do a reading for somebody, if you're someone who's just starting to use tarot or just starting to use any form of divination, the best way to do so is to start by just thinking about that person and grounding yourself, grounding your energy. Remember, we're going to start in this show in the mornings. When we come in, we're going to ground and connect ourselves. So this time, this space in here, we're already grounded and connected in this web together, reaching towards each other, feeling each other's energy. Because we're not afraid of each other anymore. Morning, Alex. We're coming into unity consciousness, which means we have to reach out and connect with each other and see the other in ourselves, see ourselves in the other, right? So you're tuning into the person, you're grounding yourself, and you're just letting go. Just like we do the hooks of letting go from here and there, pulling our energy back to ourselves. You're just letting go of these things or thoughts or whatever it is that's coming through your head until you get that sensation that the cards are clear, that you're clear, that everything is cleared out, and you're tuned into that person. This is where the compass comes in handy. If you're new to the show and you haven't heard or done the compass yet or used it, go back and look for that episode on the compass. It's a super powerful tool, really easy to use. All right. I'm getting that, yes. And Andrea was asking for a card pull on a relationship. So this is a 3-card pull that will look at, the first card will be Andrea. The second card is the other person. So the first card is you, the other card is the other person, and the third card is the mirror. What's the mirror between these two that are showing, right? So for me, I cut the deck, and it lets me know when I've cut it to where I want it to be. Ah. Yeah, Alex, the energies that are coming through right now are impacting a lot of us, especially the sensitive ones, with head and chest colds and infections. We're needing to be drinking a lot more water. I mean, more than normal, because we have to keep that mucus really fluid. Part of it is because as we're shifting and upgrading, the chakras themselves are changing, to bring in this different energy. And when the chakra changes, first it affects the glandular system, and then it affects the physiological, the organs that are related to those. So our heart and lungs, our thalamus, our thymus, our thyroid, these things are being impacted, our hypothalamus. People are having head pressure, headaches. And this is being reported like all over. This is not just, lots of people are going through this right now. A lot of people are talking about feeling like their heart, something's wrong with their heart. And it's because the heart energy is totally changing. So I'm so glad that you are bringing up that Arcturian healing, because that was powerful. And it actually, I listened to the full 3-part series of that, and I felt much better. I feel, I'm still working things out a little bit, still have some congestion, but I feel much better after using the Arcturian healing. I'm so glad you brought that up. And I'm sorry that you had a rough night last night. So I'm going to lay out the cards. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip around so you can see the cards while we're talking. So this was the first card. Yes. Kathy, great. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay, so Andrea, this card represents you. This represents the other person. This represents the mirror between you guys. Now, the 4 of Pentacles means you're really trying to figure out what it is that's blocking you from, well, you're releasing the ideas around money. This card represents kind of a feeling of covetousness, like the dragon. The dragon really likes shiny things, they want to collect things, and they feel like they have to hold on to it. It can also symbolize the hoarding feeling or sensation or mentality, and it's inverted, so you're working on, how do I get rid of this in every way from me right now? Now this card, the 8 of Cups, were it right side up, it represents going in, releasing yourself from this external world and going into the depths of the internal unconscious, subconscious realm, letting go of these things that you were holding on to at the surface, and choosing one and going down, guided by your inner light. So the other person is trying really hard to not do this, though everything in their life is forcing them into this isolation, into this introspection, but they're struggling with that. The mirror between you guys is the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man represents, this is a major arcana. So where this is the physical world and this is the internal emotional world or aspects of self, this is that whole lesson self. And the major arcana are, when you're in a stage of understanding and awareness in that human condition. And this card, sometimes they're symbolized as hanging upside down on a cross with ropes and tied to the thing. But this guy, I love this deck because it's so much more, to me, what's really going on. He's just hanging out there. He's decided, I'm going to remove myself from the situation, and I'm going to hang out, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to observe, and hey, maybe I'll talk to this little treant while I'm doing so. I'm going to find other things to do that entertain me or that are interesting to me, rather than deal with the situation. So both of you are mirroring that for each other. You're using each other to avoid dealing with these really challenging issues right now. So right now is not the time to decide what to do in the relationship. Right now is the time to do your personal work. Stop hanging out waiting for the other person to do it. You need to do it. And let go of the idea that you have to decide right now, because you don't. This isn't the time to decide. This is the time to hang out. And let them do this. Release yourself from the parts that are helping support them from not doing this. Okay? That's what I'm getting on that read. Okay. So we'll put this back up here. And we asked for one other pull from Laura. And speaking of other ways to divine, Laura was just talking to me about how she used to do crumpled paper readings, and that offered to do one for me. So I'm super excited to see what that's going to be like. I've never had a crumpled paper reading. Feels like very interesting to me. Okay, so Laura, let's see which deck wants to talk to you. Ganesh. We haven't heard from him for a few days. I hope you got, yeah, I thought that would show. I was thinking, you know, Andrea. I get that though. I've used that same thing, and it's really, you know, it's part of that victimhood filter, and learning how to release it. We oftentimes, when we find ourselves in these situations where we're struggling with a choice or a decision, the decision really is just a tree in the forest. The point is to see the forest, right? To see the actual, how is this struggle with this decision serving to remove me or prevent me, help assist that part that's trying to block the light and the understanding in that. Yes, like coffee readings. I was totally thinking about that. I was also thinking, Alex, about tea leaf readings when she said that. And she wrote an article. She sent me this little article where she wrote about it. And she said that essentially what you do is you crumple up paper as much as you feel drawn to. And then she said that she begins the reading as she uncrumples, as she unfolds the paper. And she's looking for patterns and shapes. And she said that for her, when she looks at it, she sees faces or symbols. And she recommends to just crumple up some paper and start playing with it. And she also said the longer you sit with it, the longer you look at it, the better it can be. So I'm super curious. I agree. All right. So Laura, this card pull is for you. No. Well, that's for somebody else. Let's see in a minute. Laura's card, though. See, by using that compass, constantly being tuned in to the energy of the cards, I didn't get that strong. Yes. Wait. This doesn't feel like Laura's card, but am I still supposed to pull it? Yes. Okay, is it for me later? Yes. So then I again go for Laura's card. So always make sure you're tuned in while you're doing any kind of readings for people, because, you know, things are communicating all the time, and usually it's with you. All right, so, oh, Laura, this is beautiful. I haven't seen this one yet. This is Innocence. I totally agree. Well, hey, you know, you guys are welcome to start posting your crumpled paper readings, like your images of it, and we can all play around and tell each other what we see. I think that's a great idea, Alex. I love it. So, Laura, innocence, right? Innocence with Ganesh. You know, one of the things that Ganesh got his head cut off for by his father was his innocence and his naivete. He didn't understand that he was supposed to fear his dad. He just knew his singular job, his singular focus and purpose was to guard his mother, to guard her dignity, to guard her privacy, to guard her while she was at her most vulnerable in the bath. And that it didn't matter who came to that door, no one was going to get in there. And that was his innocence, right? His innocence and his devotion. Of course, that got him his head cut off by his father, who, you know, it always cracks me up in the Indian pantheon how patriarchal they can be. So in the book, what it says, the simplest gestures of love and respect can prevail over even the toughest of hearts. So I'm getting already that right now you're coming out of a period of feeling kind of disillusioned, like a loss of innocence. Maybe some experience occurred that made that feel even more strong for you. And the innocence, Ganesh is calling this up, and he's going, you know what? You don't have to lose that innocence and that pureness of your focus or purpose or your work just because of an experience. Because one of the things that Ganesh brings to the pantheon is that after his father, gave him a new head, an elephant head. He took that and owned it, right? And that became his thing. And he still brought joy and innocence to the point where this father, who was so angry at him, fell in love with him too. So even that which destroyed him, killed him, became his greatest champion by bringing his own innocence and not releasing himself from that. So I think that's beautiful and perfect right now for all of us, because right now we're all trying to understand this innocence thing. I'm sorry, I'm like highly reflective today. I am at like a cloudy window and there's a light here, but it's not even really aimed at me. So I'm just really reflective today. Sorry, guys. So those are the card pulls. Now, what I wanted to talk with you guys about is yesterday we ended up opening some deep stuff. You know, that was big. That was some deep stuff. I wasn't expecting that to get that deep. I kind of, this is part of that whole, you know, understanding and, and you know, that whole understanding of an allowance of letting this show become what it's going to become, whatever that is, in response to what you need, how you guys show up. So yesterday was so big, and one of the things that kind of hung on with me, and if you watched yesterday's show, you know I offered anyone support who feels like they need it with anything that came up as a result of yesterday's work. But we're going to continue that work today into that next stage. So many of you who listen are energy workers. You're here to be light workers, warriors in the dark, or however, whatever, you know, whatever your name is, your champion. But you're here championing for everybody. So how do we take work like yesterday's, that deep releasing of victim filters and seeing the truth of ourselves in that mirror and bringing it in? How do we take that and translate it to the collective? How do we support the whole by doing so? Now, remember how I said there was another card that got cut off that wasn't for Laura, but is to be read. It was another Ganesh card, Clear Your Energy. So that's kind of what we're going to do. And I thought we could use a few different tools for that. One of the tools that I love, and I turned away from for a long time because I felt it was quite important to not depend upon the tool, and I still stand by that. But one of the tools that I really love is my pendulum. And, you know, the pendulum was one of those tools that was shown to me. I was guided into it, and I've talked about it before in the show. So I'm not going to tell the story of the pendulum right now, but this is my current evolution of my pendulum. So, you know, they come to me in dreams, or they come and they just start being made. One of the reasons that I prefer this sort of a pendulum that's made up of all these different stones, I call that the strand, is because energetically each of these stones support. They support all the different aspects of me. I noticed that one of my other friends joined in, and I'm just going to out her, Hannah. The first time Hannah Neal saw my pendulum, she giggled. She goes, "Oh, look, that's you." Because the vibration of these stones in the strand are an echoing of my own energy. And when you feel the stones, you can feel that. So when you make a pendulum for yourself, if you allow yourself to be open and guided in making it, you can create these strands that support you at the optimum frequencies, optimum resonance of who you are. When you look up the individual stones on one of my pendulums, it's shocking how, oh yeah, that's exactly what I need right now. Oh, that's exactly where I'm going. Good morning, Brittany. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad that you are learning and growing. That's the whole point. So when we use a pendulum, you know, this is just like a card. We can use it for the divination aspect of reading and understanding, getting yeses, getting nos. Pendulums can give so much more than that. They can talk about skirting the issue, where, you know, it's these little circles going around a center point. It can be getting half the issue. You're missing the point. Whoops. It wants more room. You're missing the point, you're only seeing half of it. So you can feel all sorts of different information coming, but you also are getting a clearing effect by this energy. The strand draws the energy from the body and it tunes it out through this quartz, clearing and tuning, as also drawing it in. So all of this works to help clear and support you. Now, I don't do a lot of divination with my pendulum of asking questions anymore, personally. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but you can. I mostly use my pendulum while I'm doing big work like yesterday. I use it to support me and to check in. Have I cleared enough of this energy out? Is there more to clear? I can use this to amplify my focus and my intention and clear with more focus and intention, which is going to be, I'm going to put this down in a second, but I'll be using it while we're doing this clearing work today, as we clear out from the line, from our personal lines, as well as that web that we've been working on, the web of humanity. Sorry, phone call. That's what happens when you multitask with a device. So we're going to start by yesterday when we were doing that work. I ended up working with somebody directly afterward, and what came immediately through was the Kintsukuroi Healing Technique that I learned through guidance. I used to be a potter, so your guidance is always going to be communicating with you through that lexicon of your experience. So a lot of things come to me through seamstress and pottery, which is sculpting and sewing and weaving, right? Makes sense. So in Japan, they believe that when you break a pot, that pot is not worthless. That vessel isn't a worthless thing. You gather up all the pieces of that vessel, that pot, as much as you can, and you put it back together. You take it to a master potter that does this Kintsukuroi technique, and he puts all the pieces back together, and he pours liquid gold into the pot and lines the vessel with gold, and the gold fills the cracks so that the pot is all held together by gold. And I'm not surprised, Andrea. The pendulums have been wanting to be used. They're very supportive, especially this kind of a pendulum. So anyway, the potter puts the pieces back together, and then he refires the pot. Now, when you fire a vessel, especially in the high fire range, the line between what is the gold or the glaze and what is the clay body becomes almost impossible to see because they intermix so much. That's one of the reasons ceramics are so strong, is the glass, that clay body, bonds with the metals and the silica in the clay. It all bonds together and forms this new body that's a union of these things. So when they do this work, then the vessel, when it comes back to the home, is considered sacred. It's considered to be a holy vessel, and it's valued in its new way, its new form. So if it was a water vase before, it's not just used for water anymore. Now it's a sacred vessel. So oftentimes we go through our lives and we look at our physical illnesses and damage, or our psychological or our spiritual damage, and feel broken. So many people come to me feeling broken. So I thought, why not do this in the show, and we'll put a tool out there that people can use to help feel whole again. Now, this doesn't mean you're never going to have to do any of that self-work of bringing in the parts of yourself that you see in the mirror, in the reflection. But it's a way of giving you a vessel, a whole space, a sense of wholeness to hold yourself in, to hold those waters of you in. So many of us as energy workers experience accelerated lives, right? Everything happens quicker, bigger, more. We tend to have all of our hardships and traumas in our first 20 to 30 years, depending. Some of us even in our first 10 years. And then we have to recover from that. We have to, recover and come back into a sense of wholeness again. So this is for all of those people that are like me with that struggle. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the Kintsukuroi healing is recognizing while we do this work how it serves you, how feeling broken has actually been a service to you in your life, how it's helped you, how it's supported you, how it's created for you your learning path that you now use in your service work. And so many of us struggle with that. Like, why does it have to be so hard? I was just working with somebody last night about that. Why does it have to hurt so much? Why does it have to be so hard? Why do I have to feel everything so much? And the more we can recognize that we've created this path, we have to get to that space where we can feel forgiveness for ourselves, that we created this. That's the block point that I'm noticing people are struggling with in going into this whole self-healing, is accepting that they created it all for themselves. We have a desire to point and focus our blame externally. This person did this to me. This person did that to me. And I'm bringing this up because when we do the Kintsukuroi Healing Technique, you're going to have a lot of information coming into you, communicating with you. And it's important to know how to look at that, the perspective with which to look at that that's going to help you do more of your self-work. And I think that's why you guys are here, is because, these shows help you with your self-work, help you with your service work. So when we're looking at these pieces, these broken pieces, when we're reclaiming them from people, when we're reclaiming them from situations or times or places, and cleansing them, right? Cleansing the energy of them, cleansing our energy, releasing the debris that we've held inside. As we're doing this process, we're going to be communicated with. We're going to be shown beliefs that we hold about ourselves. They're limitations that we've put on ourselves. Ideas that if I am this, I can't be worthy of love. I can't be worthy of holding Source's energy here and embodying it on the creation. I can't be of value enough to support this other person. I can't do my own work when I'm so damaged. All of those beliefs that we hold about ourselves are going to be surfacing. That's part of the broken vessel. And as they resurface, if we start to resist them, then we're just going to break the vessel again. We're not going to be able to put it all back together. So, this is a lot of information, and I normally give this over a much longer class. That's why we're kind of breaking it up through the week, looking at it piece by piece. So as we look at this stuff, and the stuff is coming up for you, as much as you can, try not to judge it. Try not to judge it in the sense that you say, oh, but that's actually where I'm bad. Oh, see, now I really suck at, or I really did something naughty there. Try not to hold the self-judgment or the judgment of the other. They were really evil. They were really naughty. They weren't doing what they should have been doing. Try to release that just in this moment and observe as everything comes up. Don't try to interpret it. Don't try to understand it. Just observe. This is practicing a state of allowance. And this is the way that we get the most information from our self-healing sessions, because we step back and become the observer, the creator observer, watching the experiment play out and seeing how it works from an observer perspective, okay? So that's what we're going to work on today. Stepping back and being the observer, and then healing all of the broken pieces of the vessel. I hope that this will support you guys in moving forward from yesterday's work. All right, so we're going to take a few moments, making sure that you're sitting comfortably or laying comfortably. I'm going to have a sip of my smiling coffee. For this one, I also have, talking about tools of support. When I'm doing this kind of work, I love to have a candle burning next to me. I like to have that flame energy. I like to have water. So I've got a great big bottle of water. I like to have stone and earth. So right for me, this is one of my favorite stones. You're welcome to tune into it. So I'm going to show it to you guys. It's a cluster, and it's actually shaped much like a heart. This is a quartz cluster that still has all the iron inside of it. Quartz and iron are really supportive in doing that deep emotional healing, connecting it and linking it to the physiological healing. The iron brings it into the body, brings it right down and in. And then the other thing I like to have is incense, which is burning right over here, because the incense, it's giving me that sense of movement of the air. It's helping me tune into the air in this space, in this room. Okay, Alex. So maybe what we'll do is support you more directly while we do this work. Sorry. Yeah, your chest is pretty congested. You can use a salt lamp too. Anything that you feel that anything that you feel guided to use is perfectly fine. And some people are more connected with certain tools than others. Sometimes I have also a crystal bowl, a singing bowl that I use that's really powerful for that kind of work. It's just whatever you feel guided to. Personally, I like to have the elements supporting me. And a salt lamp is very much just like this quartz crystal, a piece of that earth, a piece of these elements. And of course, it's great for cleansing and clearing energy. So let's see, tools. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say about the tools. So we're going to take a few moments, making sure that you're feeling comfortable, and we'll hold this bubble space, recognizing so many of us are going through this physiological struggle that we talked about earlier with the chest pains, the congestion, the struggle to feel healthy and strong. Right now that so many are going through with this physiological change, Alex, I'm definitely putting you in this sphere. We're going to just hold that space as we grounding our vessel, feeling our roots, feeling that Gaia energy already flowing through the body. You guys are so good. Oh, wow. It feels really good to ground with you guys and connect with you each morning. I just want to take a moment and thank you for that. It feels really good, okay? So we're going to open up the crowns even more, flowing that source energy down and through. Just taking a few moments to unhook yourself from your day, pulling yourself back into the here and the now. Releasing yourself from yesterday, unhooking. Coming into the here and the now. And we're first going to just start calling up into focus any physiological symptoms that we're holding right now. Feeling those pained areas, those struggles. Feeling that chest pain, Alex, in the back and between the shoulder blades. Thank the body for letting us know that the heart is holding some pain right now. That the heart is holding some beliefs and it's ready to let it go. Thank it. And that the lungs are struggling right now to detox all that was released and that is being released by this energy. Feeling how so many of us are struggling and feeling that low energy, that depletion, that exhaustion. We're going to call in our angelic support at this time. Asking our angels to come in and guide us as we feel and embrace our own wings, our own nature. Supporting us. Make sure to move and adjust the body as we flow this energy, just like a river flowing through us, gently and gracefully releasing. Gently and gracefully releasing that debris that was stirred up and set loose, just like a muddy river gets cleansed as it flows. And as it's cleansing, ask the vessel to show me, what is this pain, what is this struggle really about? What is it really showing me? What do I not see? What have I not understood? And allowing the back of your eyes or that third eye to be like a picture screen showing you, or if you're a sentient, then feeling and sensing this understanding and awareness. And recognize that sometimes the body just needs to express. We don't actually need to understand it. Sometimes we just gotta let it out. And the understanding isn't coming through here. It's coming through other pieces, other parts. Allow that too. Good. Be okay not knowing what that's about, as much as you're okay with knowing. Balance. And Alex, I want you to continue flowing this energy and allow yourself to go into that pain, into that discomfort, as though the worst were true and that it's okay. It's okay if I pass out. It's okay if my heart flutters. It's okay in this moment. It's okay. Just allow it for now. So resistance to these things, that's what creates the suffering element. Better. And now using the compass, is there something for me to learn in this pain? And I'm feeling the pain. Is there something for me to learn in this? Yes. Am I going to understand it right now? Is that a part of it for me? I feel your need. Yes. So, let go. And see how already it's starting to flutter. The messages are starting to come through. And just observe like you're watching the story. So for any of you who are experiencing any physiological pains like this that you can't quite understand, I personally believe that most physiological symptoms, all of them, stem from some energetic start, some point. And it's a belief that I'm holding on to. And so the body has to collect this physical debris in order to hold that belief. And depending on how that belief is held, whether it's a self-empowerment or disempowerment belief, it might show up as problems in my gut. It might show up in my intestine if I'm dispassionate or I'm damaged in my creativity or my roles with my family. It might show up as pelvic issues or hip problems if I have struggles with my beliefs around safety, or that I'm held or supported or loved in my life, that I know how to move forward. Right? The body, the physical problems are showing us that there's a belief that's been out of whack for too long, and it wasn't addressed when it was shown to us in the mirror. It wasn't addressed when it was repeatedly shown, when we were injuring ourselves or having people show up with these problems. So now it's showing up in the physiological where we can't ignore it. The vessel is damaged. And we believe that now we have to heal the vessel. But what we have to heal is the belief that's driving the problem in the vessel in the first place. And the only way to do it is to understand what the belief is. And we can only understand it when we listen and receive the information from it. If we have a child that comes and we don't know what their problem is, but we start telling them what they should do, we no longer are connected to that child. We've rejected them. We can't receive from them. We don't actually know what they need. So we have to pause, step back, and observe. And flow the energy through with the breath. The breath is how we actually exhale debris from the physical body. It is not through our excretions. It's not through your bowel movements. That's a different system. What the body itself, the physical vessel, holds when we're releasing debris, we're exhaling it through our lungs, or we're exhaling it through our skin, through our pores. So this is breathing support, breathing deep, and releasing when we exhale with intention the debris. Visualizing the whole body as breathing in and releasing gracefully and gently this debris. While we look at the beliefs behind this pain. Now I feel like we're in a good space now to start looking at the vessel itself and finding our broken pieces. Okay? So I want you to imagine your vessel. If you don't know what your vessel looks like and you just see a pile of pieces already, that's great. It's okay. Start to call in the pieces that you've left behind, anywhere, at any point, in any expression. We're healing the whole vessel. And as these pieces come in, imagine that they're all coming into this great big wash basin. That's cleansing, cleaning, renewing these pieces, releasing them from beliefs they've held. And as they're being washed, they're showing you all you need to learn, all you came here to understand and know, in whatever way. We're going to call in all pieces of ourselves that we gave away to others, all the pieces that we released as we wanted to show our love, our support, our strength for them, all those pieces of ourselves that we gave away. Remember, if you have any physiological pains show up while you're doing this, allow, bring your intention of your flow of energy to that point of discomfort or pain. Somebody's got it in the left back calf. And flow. Good. Good. Allowing it to speak to you. Good. Continue with this process, bringing in the pieces of ourselves that have been taken from us. Any parts of ourselves in any way that have been taken from us by anyone at any point in time. Broken, taken by force, taken by coercion, taken in any way, we're calling those pieces and parts back to ourselves. If you feel the need to move and shift the body to adjust or pop, my whole spine just popped for that one. Good. Do so. It helps to release more and more. Continuing to visualize that breath. Releasing. We're going to call back any parts of ourselves in any way that have not come in, have not manifested yet into this world. Bringing in even the shards and the dust from our breakings, all the rest of us, and bringing it into one whole vessel, effortlessly and gracefully assembling these pieces together. Feel them fitting into place, taking note, again, of any tightness, any physiological responses, going into the space, feeling the space, speaking to the space. And when you can't hear anything, using your compass with yes and no, hot and cold. Is this it? Is that it? Am I seeing this correctly? Have I found all the perspectives? Using the tools we've been building. Find one perspective, look for another until it feels like you're balanced, feels neutral. Observer state, not triggered. Somebody's got something in the tummy going on, disempowerment. Lack of sense of self. Remember, if you feel you need more support, put the hand on the body and let that heart energy flow through the arm, through the chakras in the palm and the fingertips as you massage and flow that energy in even greater concentration through that blocked space, through the hardness, through the pain, through the discomfort. Use the vessel to support you in this work as you flow and observe in allowance. We're going to give it a few more moments while the rest of you put the vessels together. Good. Now I want you to imagine, just like you're at a forge, there's this great, big, abundant pot of liquid gold energy. Pure, source, healing liquid gold energy. And you're just going to pour that vat of gold energy into your vessel, and keep pouring it in until your vessel is completely full, until it's seeping out of the cracks, seeping between all of those pieces that felt separate, felt broken, seeping through all parts of your vessel. And now I want you to call around you the forge of your life, the hardship, the pain that you've endured, the forge that has burned you, that has burned your life. See it now as the power that is burning and forging your vessel into the strongest vessel it could ever be. All there purely to deliver this vessel into its divine service. Use that forge, use the breath in a bellow to blow as you burn that hotter. It's another reason I like to have a candle, using that heat energy to burn, forge, heating that kiln of your life. Calling in that full sun energy to burn, purge, burn off all the debris that doesn't serve you anymore, that no longer is there, all those impurities that don't feel like they're part of us anymore, as we're shifting into the sacred vesselship and the sacred service role. And flow. Allowing that air, the wind to come in and blow out all the gases, all the toxins, all the debris. Let it blow past your vessel, releasing that excess heat, that excess energy that no longer is necessary to forge you. Allow it to blow and clear and release. As my candles are flickering. And allow those waters of Gabriel to come and cleanse and rinse off your vessel as you rinse away the ashes and all that's left behind on that vessel in any way. Flowing it and cleansing it, shining and polishing it as you feel your wholeness of self. Allow your energy to flow into your vessel. Fill yourself up all the way to the very limit of you with you. Pure, highest vibration, you. Until it's just spilling over and you abound. Awesome. Feel free to stay in this state for as long as you want, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll work on our victims some more until we just love them because they're so freaking cute. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for supporting him, all of us, for doing this work with all of us. And it's an honor to work with you guys every day. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.